to support each other to help achieve this. This isn't about getting on the grand group just to help us make more money. We want to see you fulfilled, and where do you see yourself going from point A to point B, and how can we partner together to achieve that together? What's up, everyone? It's Clarence and Ebony Graham here with another episode of Dream Catchers. We're talking about team building today. Let's go.
So this morning, we're going to be talking to everyone about real estate teams. So I think that's probably what we're known for the most in our industry is teams. Even though we do a lot of other things in real estate, teams is probably the thing that we're probably most known for. We've had a team for a really long time now, almost 10 years. Did you realize it was almost 10 years?
I did.
Yeah, almost 10 years that we've had a team. I kind of want to talk about, how it all started. Mm-hmm. And for anyone who's interested in a team or who's ever thought about maybe that's something they want to do one day, even if it's not a huge team, maybe if it's just 3 or 4 people, there were still systems, processes, tools that we had to, put in place in order to be able to grow the way we have with our team. So why did you want a team?
I don't know. I think in the beginning, one of the things that we seen back when we were at another brokerage, that was a thing people were doing. And so it was a thing to, I guess.
It was popular.
It was popular at that time, but it made sense. I understand numbers. And I want to say, if you're a one person with an admin, or if you're a one person with an attorney, or you have a team,
right?
So I think that people need to understand, even in the beginning, the habit of knowing you are the team leader, or you have a team, even as an individual person or one. Because I think people think, oh, I got 50 people that make a team. Like, that's not true. But yes. So
because even as an individual agent, you got to have systems, processes, tools.
Yes.
Right.
And we'll give you some of those tips today. But so at that point, that was the thing, right? It was a thing that was going on. It was interesting. And I seen a space to fill. I seen a void there where I was like, I see a lot of people doing teams. And so
let's try it out.
Let's do it. And so anyway, and I understand business and numbers. And so we started it, we started out with that. And of course, like I told you, when we talked on the last one, I love people and I love helping. And so I seen a lot of agents struggling too individually, that, they were trying to get started in real estate and they couldn't make it. And so they had no place to park. They had no place to go to really be able to scale and really learn and not just be placed in a bucket.
Right.
And so it was like, there's some opportunity here to help others, and we can all both win together at the same time. So we did it.
Yeah. And
we'll talk some more. We even expanded in other markets as well outside. We started doing expansion with teams, and we can talk some more about that too.
Yeah, that first expansion was
awesome.
Fail.
Awesome.
So we decided, well, pretty much when we started, it was you and I. That was the team.
Yep.
For a few months, not for a long time. It wasn't you and I for a long time. And then we decided to bring on a buyer's agent first.
That was awesome. No, I'm being silly too when I'm saying awesome.
Yeah,
that was a complete.
That was a fail.
Idea. It was just like that first expansion.
So if we could go back, I know we would do that different. Why not a buyer's agent first? Because I think a lot of people think buyer's agent, and the reason they think buyer's agent is because is no cost involved.
Number one.
Well, they don't think it's any cost. We didn't think it was going to be any cost involved.
No, I agree with that.
So,
and I think the other side too is they want more sales. That's what they feel like. Like if I have more agents, there will be more sales.
Right.
Not true.
Not true at all.
So, well, go ahead.
So, but yeah, well, keep going with what you were saying. Like, why not a buyer's agent first?
Well, I think first you have to have someone who could take what's in your head and put it on paper. Make it, that's a process, right? We talked about the process and the system. And again, we'll tell some of the things here that you'll need. But I think that the first piece is that you need to make sure that you can retain profit. If you come in with an agent first, you've instantly given away 50% of your profit, depending on your structure and how you do splits. But we're just going to use an example of 50%. You're giving away 50% of your profit up front to duplicate yourself, to create more sloppy work, and end up back with double what you originally had in your as an original person, right?
Right.
And so you're still not really servicing the client, and we're very focused on that. One of our motto is we serve before the sale, right? And so the thing is, when you're working with an admin, your admin can create systems that give a better customer experience,
Right.
Instead of duplicating another buyer's agent that we're just outselling houses, right?
Right.
And so I think that the admin also comes in and will help with your database. That's important. And for every agent, people want to buy leads, and we'll talk some on that too. But it's very important that you keep a solid base. And those are the people that you are in relationship with, who know you, love you, like you, and trust you. And we're very keen on staying in contact with our past clients at all times, because that is the hub. That's the base of your business. You scale and you do other things, of course, but you should never remove yourself from that.
Right. So for me, the admin was, like you said, once we eventually, we worked backwards, but once we figured out, oh, that was not a good idea, let's go ahead and hire our first admin. It was exactly what you said. It helped us create the processes. It helped us create systems. It forced us to go look for tools that we needed in order to grow. Fortunately, we had a very loyal buyer's agent who was patient with us through that process, so he did not leave. But I would imagine if it was someone else who, is like, they don't have their stuff together. They don't have, I'm coming in and we're trying to figure this thing out. I thought they had it together. That they probably wouldn't have stayed with us at that time. So we always say, people always ask us, who is that first hire? And looking back, we definitely say admin is your first hire.
Let's talk about that some too, though. I want you to, because I want to ask you. No, seriously, because I don't want you to miss this part of saying too, when you're hiring an admin, how do you do it? Like, because I think a lot of times people are afraid of the money side.
Right.
So I apologize to interrupt you, but I thought you were going a different direction.
No, that's why I was going there. Yeah.
Because I was just saying, like, and one of the things I tell you, let's say your admin costs $2,000 a month. I'm just making a fake number, but I think a lot of people really can understand of like, take $6,000, work hard to get $6,000. And as a new agent or as a person starting a team, I think every agent, I don't want to put a number to it, but like you should, if you're selling 1 or 2 houses a month, and now you can get a transaction coordinator, right? So, but in the beginning, that was not a thing that you really had to bring someone in-house at that point for here in Alabama that I know of.
Right.
But I was saying, just using an example, if it's $6,000 and it's $2,000 a month, you have to understand we run off a 90-day rule with everything that we do. And so you want to talk on some, because you run a lot with the 90-day process of what we call it.
Right. So whoever we hire, we are very clear with them that they have 90 days to keep their job. And so we have set aside whatever their salary is for that 90-day period. We've set that aside. And beyond the 90 days, they should be creating their own salary, right? Because they've either created leverage for us to go out and make more money, or for the agents on our team to be able to go out and do more. So they are not judged, but they are evaluated. Yeah, that's a better word. Evaluated on a 30-day basis for the first 90-day period. And so every 30 days, they have a criteria that they have to meet. And we sit down with them and we say, hey, this is what you should have, learned, mastered, whatever. Have we done that? And so we do that up until the 90-day period, and some stay and some don't. Yeah. But that's our process, and we're very clear on that up front, so they know I got to get it or I'm gone.
But I want to say too, so let's take a step back too. How do you create criteria for your admin? And I think one of the things you do is create a not to do list. And so you start really evaluating the time that you spend daily with processing a file or doing what you have to do in order to serve the client. So number one, I think creating a not to do list, so you're very clear, like Ebony is saying, on the metrics that you feel that agent or the admin should be at in the first 30 days, and by 60 days you should be doing this. And we go off the model of you're going to watch us first. You'll watch us. So I do. Then, we're going to let you do it and we'll watch you. So we do, right? And then it's you do it.
Right.
And so that's at that point, you should be doing it on your own by that 90th day.
Right. The I do, we do, you do.
And so
Need to copyright that.
you can't. It's probably already done. We probably already did that one already.
I'm sure. But no, yeah, you're absolutely right. And what I always say, and with me coming from a different background, I think it helped because you are all action, right? And I'm all process.
That's right.
And so your 90-day what I don't want to do list or not to do list would probably have about 500 things on
5,000.
it. Right.
No.
And then you would expect that of the admin.
True.
And so because of the background that I came from, I was able to say, okay, that's not realistic to expect one person to be able to do all of these things. And I think that's kind of, we had to figure that out at the beginning because we created the list of all the things that we didn't want to do, but it was so vast that it would have overwhelmed anybody, especially someone who was new to real estate. It would have overwhelmed them to the point where they're like, I don't even want to stay.
No doubt.
The 90-day period.
No doubt.
So that's important because I do see that a lot in our industry because we are so busy. And so that list of things that we would rather not do can become huge. But we really have to tailor it down to what are those important things that we can take off of our plate and hand off to someone else so that they can perform well. And it also gives us the leverage that we need. So.
And I think adding to that, like what you're saying is correct. And so I think as the leader or team leader or whatever you call that role, you have to be very clear when you're onboarding someone too, that you match the experience they have. Because I think that's the other part.
Yeah.
We expect this person to come in, they have no idea what to do in real estate, and you got to do all this, and I'm not going to train them out the door.
Right.
I've done that before.
Oh, God.
Clarence did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that.
Right. Well, I think you actually did that with me.
True.
So it helped though. Thank God we're partners because once we brought on an admin, I was able to give a very different perspective because I was coming from an industry totally different from real estate. So I had to learn the lingo. I had to learn all the little nuances that come in our business. And so when we brought someone on, and you're Speedy Gonzalez, and you're like, why are you not understanding? And I'm like, but they don't even understand the basics of real estate.
True.
And so we gotta build them up to get to this point. So that was a blessing that I had come from a different industry, so I understood the struggle of just learning. I feel like it took me about a year and a half, realistically, to really understand what I was doing.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And so now we're a lot more patient with the people that we bring on. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about, where do you get people? Like, where do you even start to find administrative help? Whether you're looking for someone with some experience or you're okay with, finding a novice.
Well, of course, you have things like ZipRecruiter, online places that provide applicants. Definitely the people that you're in business with, and I'm saying, your insurance, title. I think people that you're in business with, your sphere of influence, past clients. Our first admin person was a past client that we sold a property to.
Right.
And I think you also have to realize, and I know I'm probably switching gears a little bit, you have to understand the personality too of the person that you're bringing in, and you have to know yourself. So sometimes that if you have a strong driving personality, you can have another admin that has a very strong driving personality. You're going to clash.
Right.
And I think you really have to be clear for someone who's going to be part of your organization in that role that they have to have structure. You really have to identify that personality in that structure. So, and I know that's getting off gear a little bit, but off plans. But I think that's important, that when you're hiring this person, you can't hire another person like you. Right. You think you want that, you really don't.
You don't.
You need someone who compliments you.
Right. The opposite.
And your style. Yeah.
Right.
So do a disc profile.
You and I are the total opposite. Correct. On in terms of our work style and our disc, we're the complete opposite. Yeah. And it works.
It works well.
So, but back to where you find, you said, of course we use online, ZipRecruiter, Wise Hire, those things. One thing though, and you did have a past client, but one thing I think people neglect is other agents.
True.
Who maybe aren't doing as well, or maybe they got into real estate and it's not what they thought it was going to be. They kind of like the back end work. They like the paperwork side more. Right. There are agents in probably every office who's like that
all day long.
Yeah. And so, but we don't reach out to them because we don't even think about, reaching out to other, and it's actually sometimes a better fit because they do have the experience already. So training sometimes can be a little easier, and they can also still get deals and kind of work stuff, and that helps supplement their salary. So that's a win-win.
Yeah. And I think anywhere you are, anytime you have great experience too. So just wrapping that up with the admin, because we can spend a whole segment on admin and how does that work. And that may be something we do, is talk about how do you onboard, the process and systems to that. But we'll move away from that. So let's talk about, though, even and we talked about the first hire and it's around administration, but I also want people to know you can do virtual reality companies. So we've used ISAs.
Yeah.
You can also do a transaction coordinator. If you are an individual agent and you really don't want to pick up a salary per month, you can look at what's called a transaction coordinator. That's someone who will process your files, because that's where you spend a lot of time as the agent, right? And so, and understanding, like you're saying, the path that you need, what's most important first. And that's probably one thing you can take off your plate. And you just probably can't do a bunch of client events and all this stuff right now, because you just need to get the TC off of your plate, and then you can go out and generate more income and take care of that. But, like I said, virtual person, we've had those.
Yeah, we've had plenty of virtual
ISAs,
agents. Yeah.
And that's another hire at some point you'll get into.
Yeah. So, yes, I agree. We can go into the whole admin thing for like
partner too.
The rest of the week, probably. But most people jump from admin straight to buyer's agent.
Correct.
Sometimes you can jump from admin to showing assistant. Showing assistants can be a little tricky, and we haven't always had a whole lot of success with showing assistants. We've had them in the past, and it worked out fine, but just retaining showing assistants can sometimes be a little tricky.
Yeah.
And then payroll, of course, on showing assistant is difficult. But buyer agent. So, because that's where everybody wants to go.
Right.
They want to jump into a buyer agent, and I think that people should be excited about bringing on a buyer's agent.
And I don't want to say a buyer's agent, because that's the old term.
Or just bringing on another partner onto the team. Yeah. Correct, because they don't necessarily they work both. Listings and buyers, right? But bringing on another partner to join with you on your team, I think is an exciting process, because, like you said before, more than likely it's someone who needs the help, and you are hopefully in a place where you now need the help, in terms of you have more deals than you can handle, and you want to hand them off to someone. So it can be a win-win situation. What's your opinion on bringing on a partner, your first partner?
Your first partner, I think, has to be a strong hire. And when I say a strong hire or a strong partner, it's very important, because that person is basically you're handing off your clients to this person, right? Right. And so that could be a tricky experience in the beginning. So you don't want to start off on the wrong foot, because you as the team leader might say, I don't want to do this again. And, so I think really understanding, again, that personality, and you have to realize, even when you're, interviewing for this person, what is your vision? Like, what are you wanting to do? Because we need to support each other to help achieve this. This isn't about getting on the grand group just to help us make more money. We want to see you fulfilled, and where do you see yourself going from point A to point B, and how can we partner together to achieve that together?
Right.
And so I think it's important that you really understand the personality. What's the vision for that person, and do they really have a servant heart? Being on a team, and even as a team leader, we love to be a servant leader. And so you have to understand, when you're a partner on a team, you have to let your ego go, and it's about really achieving, like I said, the bigger goal that you wouldn't have done by yourself.
Right.
And I think that's very key. And of course, that's all through all the hires on the team. But when you're getting that first one, it's just not like, man, it's my buddy. We like each other. Let's just do it. You know,
That's probably not the best idea.
Oh, I'm tired. I need some help. Just do it. That's not the proper way. So let's say check references. Right. Do a DISC profile. And then allow yourself to spend some time with that person before you bring them on. You know, go to lunch, hang out after hours, you know, really get to experience working with this person. And you can say, hey, I think this is a good fit for us to move forward and let's build this thing out. Right.
Now, I do think, I think admin, when we talk about like personality types, I think the admin does need to be the opposite of the team leaders.
Yes.
But I don't think that with the partners. I think the partners need to be a little bit closer aligned in business styles and personality styles, because you're kind of needing to mimic yourself in the industry. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of needing to put somebody out there that has the same drive as you do with your clients. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, I think they do have to have the drive, but I love that all personalities work, because we're working with all different types of personalities. And so for some clients, I'm not a good fit to work with them, but this person is, because they do have more of a C in the way they explain and detail, you know. And so it's just, and I'm just using it as an example, but I think that it is important to have all profiles, but they do have to have the drive. They do have to have hunger and desire, you know.
Right. The work ethic.
The work ethic, you know. You can teach skills.
Right.
You know, but you can't teach somebody to be motivated. You can't teach somebody to be hungry. You can't teach somebody to want to go out and like be successful and make money for their family. I can't go get you out of bed and wake you up and do that.
Right.
You know, you have to want it.
Yeah. The other thing is for on the team side. So we talked about, you know, kind of what the buyer agent needs to bring to the table. But what I think is even more important is, what am I bringing to attract a partner? What am I offering? What do I have that can make their lives and their business easier? You know, because when you have that initial conversation, you know, I can't just sit down and say, hey, I want you to join my team. I ain't got nothing to offer you, but I just want you to join with me. You know, people, especially business-minded people, they're going to be like, well, I can just do this on my own.
That's right.
Why do I need to join with you guys? What benefit is there? So you need to be very clear on, you know, what that looks like.
I tell you, the first thing, never lead with just leads.
Right.
And I mean that, because if you come on and you partner with people just because, hey, I have some leads and I want you to help me work these leads. I mean, the moment they feel like the leads aren't valuable, they no longer feel value in you. So number one, leads should always be the last thing that's really the value to your team. I think number one, that they get to see themselves getting further with you. Faster,
right.
You know, really casting that vision. And we're of course, we're going to get into the tools and those things, but just starting with that, I believe that people want to experience having that experience with you, if that makes sense. And so it's really seeing, like, that's why I say sitting down and understanding where are you going and how can we be in alignment. And once we find that alignment, it's like we can go far.
Right.
And so I think that's really key in letting people know you really do care about them. Not that it's just about a split in money, that I sincerely want to see you grow and I'm willing to strap up my boots. I'll go to listening appointments with you.
Right.
I'll do buyer consultations. I'll teach you what I know, and being willing to do that for people. I think that's a very huge piece that I think team leaders really bring to the people that they get to work with.
Yeah. What I've just over these 9-10 years talking with agents who have stayed on our team, because retention on a team can sometimes be tricky, but you have to be prepared for that, right? Like sometimes you're going to lose people.
That's part of it.
It's part of it.
doubt.
You're going to have people that stay, you know, with you the whole ride through, but there are going to be some who don't. But the ones who have stayed, I think the thing for them is that the training and the accountability
And the culture.
Right.
Biggest one.
Right. Are the three things that kind of keep the glue together. That we are constantly training, and whatever we know, we're giving it to them.
No doubt.
You know, we do a lot of education. We go to a lot of conferences and classes. And so we're big on that. We're going to hold you accountable to what you said you want, not what we want,
Correct.
but what you said you want.
Correct.
And also we're gonna keep our culture intact. That's huge for me.
Yes.
Is we're gonna bring on people who fit our culture, and we're gonna keep it fun, and we really feel like a family. And I think that's important to the people who are on our team or
no doubt
joining any team.
No doubt.
Have a great time.
Like an amazing time.
That's very intentional.
Yes.
Very intentional.
So wrapping it up. So let's just wrap it up. Just really, with the tools. So definitely you have to have a contact relationship management.
Right.
You can, personally for me, I don't think you can really manage an Excel sheet for your system. So you have a lot of cool data, what we call CRMs. That you'll have. You do have to have a tracking system for your production. So like commitment to excellence. We use this thing called CTE. And it really keeps up with like how many closes you have, what's pending, setting your goals. And I didn't, because there's so much we can get in here, because I want to talk about the key indicators that you need to really focus on and what should you be tracking, because you have to do that when you're running a team.
That's
your
next
KPIs.
episode.
Next episode. But I think you need to make sure that you also have a great coaching and training platform that your agents can get into and understand when you're onboarding them and when they're working with you, how to have that already in place and ready to go. And
what do you mean?
So like at one point we were using Trainual,
Yes.
And it didn't have to be Trainual. It could be Trello.
Right.
But there's some type of checklist that, here's a video on how to open a lockbox. Here's a video on how to log into MLS.
Yes.
Just the simple things that we take it like, hey, I've been doing this, but it's those little things I said, get it in and out of your head, place it on paper. But guess what? You would never have that if you didn't hire that admin first.
Right. That's true.
That's true. And I think you have to have a great drive, like Google Drive. We use G Suites to keep up with documents, listing presentations, and all of those type of things. So those are just a few little tools. And I mean, we use Slack. The agents hate it, so we
they hate
and Asana for project management, so you can forecast things that are going on as far as like projects you want to do, because we'll take a year and break it up into 90-day increments, and then break that 90-day increments into 30 days, and then take the 30 days and break it into weekly, and then we have these daily metrics we focus on that lead up to that 90-day goal that we're focused on. That 90-day goal will end up to the annual goal.
Okay, you said that real fast.
Sorry.
I hope they got it. But no, I understood you. And so, but yes, we could do a whole thing on just tools.
Definitely.
Because I feel like we've used, if there are 100 tools out there, we've used 99 of them.
Yes, that's right. Courtesy of me.
Right. So, just kind of recapping, we talked about admin and how to hire that person. We talked about, buyer's agents and what that person should bring to the table, and also what you should bring to the table as a leader. And we talked about a few of the tools and systems that, we have used either in the past or currently using in order to manage our team. What's the last little bit of advice you would give someone who is thinking about a team, or, not even the traditional team, but just if I want to hire an admin, or if I just want to bring on one partner with me, what advice would you give?
Well, I would tell them, be very patient. This is not a quick game. You're gonna fail forward, and be okay with that. I think in building a team, you have to really have a love for people. It is truly about serving others, not about building your ego. And it's about winning together, not just doing your own thing. And I think the other thing, while building a team, is you have to be very clear as the team leader of your vision and where do you want to go, so that you're always keeping that in the forefront. Because I think a lot of people start off, like you said, hey, this is a cool thing to do, I'm going to try it out. But you really have no vision. And even if you've already started that, slow down and really fine tune that piece that, like, this is where I see us going as a team and as a unit. Are you on board? Because that's the only way they can really connect with what you're working together to do, Right. So I think that's just about it.
Cool beans.